They don't put in extra work. They don't go above and beyond to hone their skills, improve their game. This is a club. This is a get-together. This is a player meet and greet. This is a hangout, and the WNBA is just where they choose to hang out. And the NBA and the owners within the league, they're funding this hangout.
The WNBA is on high alert, but not due to declining ratings or empty arenas. This time, the league is facing a far more pressing concern: the delicate balance of keeping their brightest star, Caitlin Clark, happy and healthy, while navigating the enormous financial stakes tied to her presence.
Can you feel it? Can you feel the panic reverberating throughout the WNBA dump? WNBA players think they have leverage. Key word, think. Now, in their defense, they do have leverage in the short term.
After months of grappling with players speaking out about low salaries despite record-breaking revenue, the league now faces its biggest challenge yet: a rival organization willing to compensate women's basketball players fairly for their true value.
Now, I don't know what to believe from financials, but they got a lot of money backing them from TNT Sports and a lot of investors. And word has it that they came within $10 million of breaking even their first season. That's damn sight a lot. That's damn sight a lot better than the WNBA's done ever.
To be perfectly clear, Unrivaled, the 3-on-3 startup league that has been making waves since January, has just completed its first season, and the results are nothing short of astonishing.
Unrivaled will forever change the WNBA.
For sure.
And the way that they do business, the way that they treat their players, any agreement going forward. Unrivaled did things that were unprecedented. And I think it showed players their value, and players in that upcoming CBA are going to ask for everything. And I think that they're going to have to make something work if they want to see the product on TV, right?
In Unrivaled, players are earning an average of $220,000 for just 8 weeks of competition, almost 3 times the full season salary of a typical WNBA player. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, the superstar who has reignited national interest in women's basketball, is earning a comparatively modest $78,665 in her second season with the Indiana Fever. The disparity is so stark it feels almost unbelievable.
Essentially stalled for a new collective bargaining agreement in the WNBA. For the first time ever, WNBA players think they have leverage. Key word, think. Now, in their defense, they do have leverage in the short term. The problem is, if this short-term leverage is used and the 2026 WNBA season is canceled, it could have devastating long-term impacts on pretend basketball.
But the story gets even more compelling. Unrivaled isn't just spending money randomly. They have a clear strategy. League President Alex Bazel confirmed that player salaries are set to rise further in 2026 after their inaugural season surpassed all financial expectations. The league brought in over $27 million in revenue during its first year, nearly breaking even. A remarkable feat for a startup. Now, they're gearing up for Season 2 with their eyes firmly on the one athlete who could elevate them from a promising newcomer to a genuine challenge to the WNBA's dominance.
I'm wondering, will the WNBA get within $10 million this season? I kind of doubt it, considering Caitlin Clark's missed, 13, 14 games or something like that? We saw ticket prices plummeted. We know the ratings have gone down in games that she's not involved with, which has drove the ratings down across the league. So I don't know.
The urgency among WNBA players has never been clearer. During the 2025 All-Star Game in Indianapolis, every player stepped onto the court wearing black shirts that read, "Pay us what you owe us." Over 40 players attended a heated meeting with league officials, the largest turnout in league history. They opted out of the current collective bargaining agreement and are now pushing for team salary caps of $45 million and individual salaries as high as $1 million. The irony? They're making these demands after the league just posted its most profitable year ever, yet still reported a $40 million loss.
In the All-Star Game, wearing pay us what you owe us t-shirts. WNBA players whose salaries are subsidized by the NBA wear t-shirts declaring, pay us what you owe us. They must have thought this was a great idea. Oh, folks, we're really going to stick it to the owners. We are really going to stick it to the league. We're going to walk out in solidarity with a t-shirt that says, pay us what you owe us, and then they'll have no choice but to pay us what they owe us. Now, my question is, what exactly?
The timing couldn't be better for Unrivaled to make its move. While WNBA players are fighting for a larger piece of a league that's struggling financially, Unrivaled is showing that women's basketball can be both profitable and fair to players. The contrast is striking. Angel re-earned $50,000 just for winning the Unrivaled championship, more than 2/3 of her entire WNBA rookie salary. Paige Beckers is set to earn around $350,000 in her first season with Unrivaled, which exceeds what she would make in her entire 4-year WNBA rookie contract.
Is that Paige Beckers' 10-week commitment to Unrivaled? 10-week commitment, 10 weeks to Unrivaled. She will make more in that first year than she will in the WNBA, where she's only projected to make $78,000. And I know there's still some haters, some unbelievers mad that women decided to bet on themselves, make this startup that is already putting the foot on the gas, right? Already making the WNBA look bad. I understand that. And they're wondering how they're paying for it. Well, Unrivaled made $1 million in ticket sales this year. Unrivaled made over $1 million in merchandise sales this year. And that's not even counting like the jerseys.
Now imagine this scenario. Caitlin Clark signs with Unrivaled for the 2026 season. Instantly, the league gains the most marketable player in women's basketball, a proven draw who can pack arenas and dominate streaming platforms. But it could go even further. Unrivaled has hinted at expanding from their current format to full 5-on-5 basketball, potentially moving games to larger arenas and adjusting the league structure. Picture Unrivaled 2027, a full 5-on-5 league featuring Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Paige Beckers, and other top stars fed up with being underpaid. They're playing in NBA arenas, broadcasting on major networks, and earning salaries that match their impact on the sport. Meanwhile, the WNBA is left with players who didn't receive better offers, competing in half-empty venues while their former stars fill arenas like Madison Square Garden just miles away.
Alex Brazel, the co-founder of the 3-on-3 Women's Basketball League, composed of exclusively WNBA players, told Front Office Sports that the league has signed nearly 90% of its player pool for the 2026 season. Quote, "We have a few spots left open to fill, and then we're pretty much ready to go."
The WNBA's response has been pure delusion. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert talks about transformational change and hypergrowth, while offering players the same revenue-sharing model that has kept them underpaid for nearly 3 decades. Essentially, the league is saying, "We know you're worth more, but we're going to keep paying you less. Deal with it." It's like trying to extinguish a raging house fire with a garden hose while the fire department sits idly by with all the proper equipment. What's most frustrating is that the WNBA had every chance to embrace Caitlin Clark as the franchise-saving superstar she is. Instead, they allowed internal politics to turn her into a target. Veterans criticized her, mocked her popularity, and even pressured her to apologize for bringing attention to the league. It's one of the most counterproductive strategies in sports, undermining your top talent out of jealousy, effectively sabotaging your own biggest draw.
I've been telling y'all this. The league doesn't like Unrivaled. I'm tired of going back and forth with people that's no business would want you to work for them and then basically replicate their business and try to make it better and all that type of stuff. No business does that. So it baffles my mind how a lot of y'all sit back and think, oh, the WNBA loves Unrivaled. No, they don't.
Meanwhile, Unrivaled is rolling out the red carpet for every player who joins the league. They're providing luxury apartments, personal chefs, child care services, state-of-the-art recovery facilities, and even a Sephora-sponsored glam room. They understand that treating athletes like true professionals isn't just about the paycheck. It's about creating an environment where players can thrive on and off the court. Compare that to the WNBA's version of player care, telling athletes to be grateful for charter flights they only received after decades of demands. Financially, the reality is damning. Despite constant rhetoric about growth and popularity, the league continues to lose money hand over fist. The NBA has subsidized these losses for 28 years to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. And now the WNBA is demanding 50% revenue sharing while owning only 42% of its own league. They sold majority control just to keep the lights on, and then acting as if they're running a profitable business. Unrivaled's model couldn't be more different. They raised over $35 million from serious investors, secured a $100 million media rights deal with TNT, landed major sponsorships from Samsung, Ally Financial, and Miller Lite, and still managed to pay players more than any women's professional sports league in history. No begging, no excuses, just proof that women's basketball can succeed as a standalone business.
It continues to show that this league is where people want to be because they treat them right. They're providing the resources for them. They're promoting them the way they should be promoted. And that's what women's basketball players deserve. That's what women deserve. A lot of you may be wondering, well, why can Unrivaled do it and why can't the WNBA do it? The WNBA can do it, but you need to understand can and will and choose to are all different things.
The desperation in WNBA front offices has to be palpable. They're watching their best players openly flirt with a competitor that offers higher pay, superior treatment, and better opportunities. Satou Sabally just announced she's played her last game in Dallas and is exploring a new home, right after spending time with former Oregon teammate Sabrina in Unrivaled. The connection isn't hard to make, but here's what should truly terrify the WNBA. Unrivaled isn't even at full strength yet. They still don't have Caitlin Clark, AEL Wilson, or several other megastars who could transform the league overnight. And they're already thriving without the WNBA's biggest draws. Imagine the explosion in ratings, attendance, and merchandise sales once those players start signing. The clock is ticking on the WNBA's collective bargaining agreement. They have until October to strike a deal, or face the first work stoppage in league history. And now, they're not just negotiating with their own players. They're competing against a rival league that has already proven it can do what the WNBA claims is impossible: pay women's basketball players like the professionals they are.
Unrivaled is making moves. Unrivaled is making moves, and they making them in a major way, y'all. They are making moves in a major way. Unrivaled announced the signings of look, they're going and getting the young, popping, upcoming talent. WNBA, y'all better figure something out. Y'all better figure something out. Unrivaled is making moves. We already see the players talking about they are willing to strike. They want what they want. Pay us what you owe. Pay us what you owe.
The most telling part of the saga? Even WNBA legends are starting to question the league's approach. During the All-Star game, when players wore "Pay us what you owe us" shirts, the crowd literally chanted, "Pay them," while Commissioner Engelbert tried to present awards. The fans get it. The players get it. The only ones who don't seem to understand basic economics are the people running the league. Then there's the Caitlin Clark factor. Every piece of data confirms what anyone with functioning eyes already knows. She is the WNBA's biggest draw by an astronomical margin. When she's healthy, Fever games average 1.81 million viewers. When she's injured, that number drops to 847,000, a 53% decline that should have executives in emergency meetings. She's not just popular, she's a replaceable SO when Unrivaled comes calling with an offer that dwarfs her WNBA salary. What incentive does she have to stay loyal to a league that treated her like a villain? The WNBA spent her entire rookie season letting veterans verbally and physically abuse their own biggest asset, then acted surprised when people suggested she might be better off elsewhere. It's organizational malpractice on a scale that would get executives fired in any other industry.
Now, the WNBA has allowed players to play in off-season leagues for however long because they know that they are not paying them high enough salaries. Now, the goal of all the WNBA players, including Nafisa and Stewie, which is why they started Unrivaled, is to be able to pay the players more, give them livable wages, make it so they didn't have to go overseas, and I commend them for that. I think it's fantastic what they did with Unrivaled.
The beautiful irony? Unrivaled was co-founded by Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart, Two WNBA veterans who got fed up with the league's excuses and decided to build something better. They didn't wait for permission or beg for handouts. They raised capital, secured media deals, and created a league that actually values its athletes. It's entrepreneurship at its finest, and it makes the WNBA look like a relic from a bygone era. The move to larger arenas and a full 5-on-5 format isn't speculation. It's inevitable. Unrivaled has already proven that 3-on-3 works financially. The next step is offering the full basketball experience fans actually want to see. When that happens, the WNBA's competitive mode evaporates. It will be just another league competing for talent, except it will be the one with the worst pay, worst treatment, and worst business model. This is what happens when you take your customers and your stars for granted for too long. The WNBA spent decades telling players to be grateful for crumbs, never imagining someone might come along and treat athletes like the valuable assets they truly are. Now, the league faces existential competition from a rival that figured out what it couldn't: how to make women's basketball profitable while paying players fairly.
WNBA is still under this major umbrella of the NBA, and a lot of that affects the way they do things. As long as the WNBA is in this 360 deal with the NBA, you're not going to see them promoting their players, paying their players, all the things that Unrivaled is able to do because they don't have that middleman.
The writing is on the wall, and it's written in dollar signs that add up to everything the WNBA has failed to provide for nearly 3 decades. Unrivaled isn't just offering more money. They're offering respect, equity stakes, and a business model that grows with success, not in spite of it. They're showing the world what the WNBA could have been if it had been run by people who actually understood the value of the product they were selling. And now, we watch the WNBA panic as their chickens come home to roost. They had the greatest gift any sports league could ask for: a transcendent superstar who could carry an entire sport on her shoulders. Yet they let petty jealousy and organizational incompetence turn it into a liability. Meanwhile, Unrivaled is building the future of women's professional basketball, one well-paid athlete at a time. The question isn't whether Unrivaled will continue to grow and compete with the WNBA. The question is whether the WNBA will still exist in its current form once players realize they don't have to accept poverty wages to play professional basketball. The revolution isn't coming. It's already here, and it's being televised on TNT, with competitive salaries and real respect for the athletes who make it all possible.